I might know where the materials from the monastery get passed on to the forgers.
Where?
Up the hill by Sasa Woods.
Shall we go right now?
No, I need to find out more. I don't even know if anyone will be there now, but you could keep an eye out there. In case anyone appears, I mean.
Agreed.
I've been sat here a fucking month. No quicksilver anywhere.
Интересно. Это было не предусмотрено. То есть это определенная свобода действий. Можно было сделать, можно было не сделать. Я просто его увидел, подумал, что бы нет.
Yeah.
Святой! Да ебать ты колобок. Так, ну он на работе. С той стороны вроде никто не ошивается, а вот здесь народу явно побольше. Привет. Охеренный день. Я только что в тюрьме отсидел. Сидел когда-нибудь? А ты пипец загадочный, да?
Are you Rapotу by any chance?
Pardon me? Do we know each other?
No, but I'm hoping to change that.
Well, I don't have much time right now. I'd best be off.
It'll only take a moment.
All right then. What do you want?
I know that you spy on Florian. I know you were involved in the kidnapping of the bathmaid, and I know why you're doing it all.
It seems there's no point making excuses.
None. Now tell me where their workshop is.
Of course, of course. That will be the best solution.
So?
Let's leave it for another time.
В каком смысле? Ты охуел? Простите. кого из нас выносливости поболее, а? Сейчас мы это выясним. Я чё, ты думаешь, я по-честному, что ли, играть буду?
Yeah.
Я отдохнул, а ты нет. Конь, давай за мной.
No, I give up.
So, are you ready to talk?
I will. Just don't hurt me, please. What do you want from me?
Tell me where the workshop is. Don't worry. Your master won't be punishing you for betraying him. You're both gonna have too many other problems.
It's in the Skullet's mines.
That doesn't narrow it down very much.
On the eastern side of Skullet's Hill, there's an abandoned mine gallery. Well, it used to be abandoned. Now there's a small camp in front of it, and the workshop is inside.
Who is your lord?
Sir Yezhek of Ronov. That's what he calls himself, although Ronov Castle's long gone.
What happened to it?
Ronov used to belong to Vincent, Count Lichtenberg. After his death, it fell to Margrave Jobst, and he had it pulled down. He knew full well that Vincent's vassals would resist him.
Why? Everyone knows that when a lord dies without issue, the king can confer his estate on whoever he pleases.
But Vincent had descendants. Ronov only fell to the Margrave because he declared them all illegitimate. All because Vincent had refused to fight for him against Sir Prokop. Sir Yezhek led a revolt of the vassals, but Jobst rounded them all up. Only Sir Yezhek got away. Since then, he's become the scourge of the domain.
Who are you, anyway?
They call me Rapota. I used to be the executioner's henchman in Brno.
And how did you come to be serving Sir Yezhek?
I helped him escape from prison. If I was going to serve anyone, better Sir Yezhek than the executioner.
So you saw being a brigand's henchman as a step up in the world?
I thought if things changed and he stopped marauding, he might get Ronov back and take me into his service.
Well, after this little escapade, you can forget about that. You'll be lucky if you don't end up swinging on the gallows.
It's all the same anyway now. I've betrayed him.
So who's Sir Yezhek working for? Don't tell me he just took it into his head one day to start forging coins.
That's not for me to know. Sir Yezhek was on speaking terms with various lordships.
Such as?
We were often guests at the monastery, but I slept in the hayloft, so I heard nothing.
And apart from that?
In the camp, you'd occasionally see a Hungarian nobleman, but I don't know what he was doing there, or who he is.
I think I've heard enough.
Can I ask you something?
Yes?
I don't want to hang. It's a horrible death. I prefer you just kill me here and now.
Может, будет какая-то польза, если мы его отпустим, я не знаю. Ну, на виселице болтаться действительно такое себе. Но в городе мочить кого-то, я же опять сяду.
An honourable death? No chance. It's the dungeons for you, and the sort of punishment a counterfeiter deserves. Don't worry. In time, you'll be glad of the gallows.
Ладно, я не первого в темницу сдал. Я сам сидел, я знаю, через что ты пройдешь, все нормально. Нет, не знаю, меня-то не пытали. Тебя дурака будут. Самый прикол, я только сейчас понял, что мы неделю отсидели. Вы представляете, сколько денег там дропнулось в нашей деревне? Красотища.
Well, who have we here?
Ah, the prodigal son returns. I knew you'd come back to me one day.
Let me guess. You saw it in a dream?
I knew you were going to say that.
I had a dream of my own.
You too? So you learned something from me after?
Yeah, it was just when I was getting pummeled by a mob of very irate villagers.
That unfortunate misunderstanding. What can you do?
Misunderstanding, yeah. I tried to explain that to them, but they were too busy kicking my arse to listen.
Причем все это время я вру, потому что все отлично. Да в смысле, с чем тебе помочь?
So what is it you want from me now?
Oh, my dear apprentice, everything's gone to the devil. I'm living from hand to mouth, sleeping on straw, and the local peasants won't buy from me. They say they don't trust me, as if I was some kind of charlatan. Can you believe it? Does this look to you like the face of a swindler? I'm an honest trader in sacred goods, whose only concern is the welfare of troubled souls. And any time now the slanderous gossip will spread here from Sassau. I should leave before things get worse. But I can't go anywhere until I've made a bit of coin. So what's needed is to give the locals a bit of encouragement, to open their hearts and purses.
I'm not going to go around beating people for you.
What do you take me for? I wouldn't hurt a fly. Violence is for the dull-witted. We must gently demonstrate to them the necessity of buying my remedies. For example, to ward off a revenant.
Revenant? What revenant?
The dead return from the grave. A corpse that the soul is unable to depart from, which wanders among the living, filled with rage at its wretched fate.
Yeah, I saw something like that once. But it was just some drunk going home from the tavern after losing all his money at dice.
Don't make light of such things. Now tell me, do you know how to deal with a revenant?
Chop its head off and sprinkle holy water on it?
That is the traditional way of dealing with such supernatural manifestations. You are my trained apprentice, but the ignorant villager is entirely at a loss how to deal with such dark forces. It is our sacred duty to prepare them for such threats.
And how do you propose to do that?
Well, they're all doubting Thomases. They need proof. We'll need a grave, an empty grave that we can use. There's one along the way to Sassau, but it's got one minor shortcoming.
What's that?
Well, it's not entirely empty.
Not entirely? What does that mean?
You have to dig it up first.
Why this particular grave?
The locals don't like to talk about it, so it's surely got some sinister past behind it. And in places like that, revenants sprout up like mushrooms after rain.
Well, if that's how it is, we could open old wounds. That could easily set people against us. Again.
Then it would be best if no one could connect us to it, wouldn't it?
I'll have nothing to do with it. Give the job to someone with no human decency.
But you're my one and only apprentice. Good day to you.
What's this about the Revenant, then?
I knew you wouldn't abandon me.
But that's a sin.
Refusing to help the needy is also a sin. I haven't had a decent meal for 40 days and 40 nights.
My conscience is clear where your stomach is concerned. Disturbing a grave is a grave sin.
The grave is not in hallowed ground, so that's hardly worth one Lord's Prayer in penance. I asked a priest once, just out of curiosity.
I'll need a spade, then.
Yes, dig it up and remove the remains, leaving no trace.
And what am I to do with the remains?
Keep them. Human remains are always handy to have around.
Great. And how do we spread the word of this revenant?
There's a gossip in every village. Here, too, a woman who'll spread news quicker than a dozen messengers on the fastest steeds.
And what am I to tell this gossip?
All you have to do is casually mention the empty grave, and before evening, I'll wager the whole village will know about it.
Where does this woman live?
The last house on the left, on the road to Sassau. She was the first person I met here, and by the time I reached the village green, I already had a mob looking suspiciously at me. The rumor-mongering fishwife.
And that's all?
Not quite. You should ask her who was buried there. So we've got a story to work with.
So, dig up the grave, talk to the gossip.
And the remains. Don't forget to remove them. Otherwise, no one will believe in the Revenant.
I might have known any task for Capon would turn into some insane escapade. Grave robbing. Jesus.
Farewell.
Да, человеческие останки вещь полезная в хозяйстве, конечно, действительно, всегда пригодятся.
Ladies and gentlemen, good men and good wives, come.
И где же сии останки?
Old or young.
Yeah! Yeah!
Вы это слышали? Это там банщицы кому-то так спину натерли?
Yeah!
Или наш напарник уже начал изображать пришествие зомбака? На погосте, как положено, да? Торакс. Ну, такой, конечно, пригодится. Корзина для переноски. Какой же я урод. Сам себя тащусь.
God be with you, good wife. Has Has something happened here?
Heavens no. It's quiet here, unlike some other places.
And what about that empty grave?
What empty grave would that be now?
The one beyond the village, alongside the road to Sasau. Just by the river, on the Pine Headland.
How would you know it's empty? Unless it was dug up.
Oh, it's dug up, all right. Freshly. And empty. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Lord in heaven, what in the name of...
How come it's not in hallowed ground, anyway? Only unrepentant sinners are buried like that. Usually.
I don't like to say. It's an old wound that's best forgotten.
Whose grave is it?
Well, once a long time ago there was a young charcoal burner living here with his wife. There was always a lot of charcoal burners here, but this fellow worked alone. That's not an easy job for one man.
No one wanted to work with him, or what?
Oh, he was a hard-headed fellow who always wanted to take care of his family himself.
Well, I can understand that. It's always better to work for yourself than break your back for someone else.
His wife was expecting, though no one knew it yet. And he wasn't doing well at all. Soon enough they had nothing to eat. And so he took to thieving.
Well, thieving is wrong.
Aye, but when there's a child on the way and your wife hasn't the strength to get out of bed for the hunger, well, you ought to think differently.
And did he get caught?
Well, at first it was just a few eggs going missing from people's hen coops. But then it was anything that wasn't nailed down. And in the end, they caught him.
And I suppose he was harshly punished for it.
Even then he didn't let on why he was doing it. They whipped the skin off his back and banished him from Leditchko.
So justice was done then?
It wasn't enough for some folk. When the butcher found out he'd never get any compensation, he wanted them to chop off the charcoal burner's hands. If the bailiff hadn't talked sense into him, he'd have done it himself with his cleaver.
Well, he got off lightly enough then.
And in the end, he got what was coming to him, and more.
The butcher caught up with him?
No, no. It was the mills of God turning slowly but surely. His wife bled to death in childbirth, and the child died with her.
I'm sorry to hear that. But at least he knew they were gone to a better place.
True, lad.
Nothing could have been done to save them.
There was no one there. He had no one who would care for his wife. They say on that day he parted ways with God forever, and he turned his back on the village too. I reckon he never forgave himself, nor us either.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways. But how did he end up?
Don't ask me that, lad. I beg you.
Come now, good wife. You can't leave the story unfinished.
I said no. Will you let it lie?
Любопытно. Что вы с ним сотворили, твари? Ночью это будет, наверное, очень жутко.
Gorgeous.
Ты им травы какой-то подсыпал, чё они орут?
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. He was from Ledetchko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But The dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, the question is, what would the revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great. He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again.
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash.
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a revenant's power.
I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's. What about the butcher woman?
What about her?
Well, her conscience is still troubled on account of her man, and she feels haunted. This won't help her much.
What's that got to do with you?
Well, I want to help her.
All right, if you can find some other solution, you don't have to switch the meat. But I wouldn't worry about her. But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original, but it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily. So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
Well, what if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how will I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a revenant's bones.
But there is no revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
All right, I'll sell them to you.
Splendid. Revenant bones. They'll be very useful indeed. God be with you.
Боже. Такие тупые задачи, это просто неимоверно. Ну, серьезно, если бы... Ну... Если бы не сам факт, что я хочу пройти DLC, я бы хер забил на это. А еще меня интересует, почему задачи отличаются. Ну, то есть вот есть синий щит, есть красный щит. И... Достань аромат неотразимости для пана Яна. Как они связаны между собой? Мы попробуем, знаете, что сделать? Я попробую нахер послать это задание. Я не хочу всем этим заниматься абсолютно. Мы попробуем найти алхимический стол. Что за штука такая? Алхимический стол. Вот он. Съездить и изготовить. У нас же есть рецепт. И если это позволит нам уйти от этого дебила, то я нахрен навсегда забуду про это задание. Другое дело, что я не умею заниматься алхимией, и мне это еще более противно, чем заниматься тем, чем он предлагает. Но выбора нет.
Jesus Christ be praised. How may I serve you? Goodbye.
Так, рецепт аромата неотразимости хочет понять пан Ян. Для меня же это бесполезная вещь. Мне не нужны толпы обожательниц, следующих за мной по пятам на тайных заданиях. Приготовь воду по горсти шалфея, календула окопника и пещерный гриб. Измельчи шалфей, брось шалфей в котелок и кипяти в течение 3 оборотов. Добавь календула окопник, кипяти в течение 1 оборота. Добавь пещерный гриб, но не кипяти. Так, приготовь воду, горсти шалфея, календула и окопника. То есть их надо перетереть. Так, окопник, календула, шалфей в наличии. Измельчаем шалфей. Как этим пользоваться? Так, подожди, сначала вода. Так, дальше. Измельчаем шалфей. Ну, в принципе, он, наверное, уже измельченный или нет. Использовать. Да ладно. Слушайте, так я могу эту... Я давно мог это сделать и не заниматься всей этой дичью. Ах, кто бы знал. Почему я когда сплю, становлюсь сильнее в пьянстве? Конь, ты не в курсе? Кстати, о чем? Нам ничего и не надо. Нам надо быстренько перекусить. А нам и нечем. А у бабули там вроде что-то было, да? Пан, хорош бухать. Пора любить и все такое. Ты где вообще?
Greetings. What do you need?
I got you that potion from the charlatan.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of impotence. But thanks, Henry. I really appreciate your help.
Once I drink this potion, every woman will faint at my feet. But I'm only interested in one.
The fairest creature on God's green earth.
The butcher's daughter, I know. And then what?
A rendezvous. She and I, under the cloak of night. And you shall be my herald of exalted words. You will hide and prompt me from a book of poetry.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile, you can learn some poems off by heart. You'll prompt me.
Learn poetry? Me? That sounds... well, not exactly...
Stop wasting time and get to it. Come back to me in a couple of hours. I have to get dressed up and groomed, and it'll take a while before the potion takes effect. Good luck then.
О, это плохо кончится. Он не шарлатан, а ученый муж. Ты бы видел, как этот ученый муж в форточку сиганул. Ученейший. Так. Интересно, а тут ставки принимаются где-нибудь? Ну, чтобы уж не просто так. Чтобы хоть поболеть за кого-то.
Entering the arena now will be Bowman Richard from the garrison of Sir Divish of Tamburg. And his adversary will be Yera of Benishov, Cole Kipper, a mercenary by profession. Welcome, our warriors!
Greetings. What business have you?
I'd like to enroll in the big tournament.
All right. As long as you've got the enrollment stake, Sir Hanish's rule is every contestant has to put up 60 groschen.
Of course. Here you are.
I'll write your name down. Henry, you said. And I need to know what weapon you choose.
Longsword. I reckon it's what I'm best at.
Good. Get yourself ready. You're next in line. See you later.
А я думал, я опоздал, раз они уже начали.
Entering the arena now will be Jake the Steak, a brewery hand from Ratai.
У меня, оказывается, наступательный потенциал из-за отсидки в тюрьме упал. Вот почему они такие крепкие, мне кажется. У меня сила и ловкость 20. Довольно неприятный дебаф. Особенно если на толпу натыкаешься. Так-то даже веселее, они стали поплотнее.
Our combatants will demonstrate their skills with short sword and shield.
Fuck! Had enough?
А тебе? Чё, мыртка?
Sit. Give up.
The victor of the second duel is Henry of Skalitz. He is hereby declared the victor in this round and shall proceed to the next round. Entering the arena now will be Henry of Skalitz from the company of sражаясь, and his adversary will be Michal of Janovitz, spearman of the Lords of Sternberg. Welcome, our warriors!
А ваш чемпион в этот раз снова попытается меня убить после турнира. Мне, кстати, любопытно. Надо поучаствовать в нескольких турнирах и посмотреть, на какие случайные события это может приводить. Потому что явно есть какая-то более глубокая идея, чем просто мечами помахать.
Had enough?
The combatant who emerges victorious from the first round is Henry of Skalitz. And now's the time to choose weapons for the next duel. Prepare to watch a fierce fight with axes and shields.
Bugger!
Топор явно тяжелее.
The victor of the second duel is Henry of Skalitz. He is hereby declared the victor in this round and shall proceed to the next round. The first combatant will be Coleman, man-at-arms of Sir Hanush of Leipa, who will measure his skills against Henry of Skalitz from the company of sражаясь. Welcome, our warriors! And this very first bout will afford plenty of entertainment. We will witness a duel with longswords.
Я его хорошо промотал.
Give up?
Размечтался. Ух ты, гнида. Связочки хочешь попробовать на мне? А поддых не хочешь?
Jesus Christ!
Только не давайте мне топор, пожалуйста. Конечно.
Change weapons for the second bout. The combatants will engage in a duel with warhammers and shields.
Чё веселее?
Way off. And the second duel was won by Henry of Skalitz.
Зато нетипичное оружие покачаем.
Lords and ladies, good men and good wives, you have just witnessed the final duel in today's Ratai tourney, for which we all owe gratitude to Sahanash of Laipa. All glory to the victor, Henry of Skalitz, man-at-arms in the company of Sir Radzik Kobila. His prize will be given to him by our gracious Sahanash.
Хорош. Желтый, ты красавчик. Где ты? Ну где-то тут ты. Он, мне кажется, сидит, отдыхает от мордованной. Это был ты? Нет.
Here, Henry, your prize.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You've earned it.
I did.
God be with you.
Some of the lads at the tavern were talking about him. They say he's
Так, немножко с пользой время провели. Кстати, надо стрел купить.
Welcome, Henry.
Я тут ради интереса купил лук. Дело в том, что мы долгое время с вами ходим так называемым длинным луком. Но длинный лук, он требует серьезного мастерства, силы, и, скорее всего, это замедляет скорость его использования. Вот почему так тяжело его натянуть, сосредоточиться и вот это вот. Я попробовал взять охотничий лук с максимальным показателем силы, чтобы он наносил побольше урона. Но при этом он не является длинным, он охотничий. Сейчас просто посмотрим, насколько лучше она будет натягиваться. Ну вот стрела уже сразу вставляется. Немножко поприятнее. И бьет в точку. Но это уже, наверное, от моего мастерства. Вообще у меня есть небольшие претензии к лукарям в этой игре. Дело в том, что когда Костя приезжал в Казань, мы с ним сходили на стрельбище. Я не помню, ну, как бы я, наверное, рассказывал об этом, но не все в курсе. И на стрельбище у нас, ну, в этом, обычный тир, луковый тир в Кремле в Казанском. То есть просто развлекуха для толпы. И мы там пострелялись. Я впервые лук в руках держал. Из 5 выстрелов была примерно вот такая картина. Первая стрела у меня улетела, по-моему, вообще мимо мишени. Или попала в самый край. Вторая попала практически в 9 или в 8. И последние 3 были в 10. Потому что оказалось, что это очень простое в использовании оружия на самом деле. Все, что от вас требуется, это быстро выработать сопричастность работы мозга и рук, мышечную память. Чем быстрее вы ее выработаете, вот эту мышечную программу, тем проще вам будет. О, отлично, Ян готов. Ну, то есть это вообще очень быстро делается. Ты раз выстрелил, понял механику, 2 погасил тряску рук на 2-й попытке, на 3-й попытке выставил, как стрела должна смотреться относительно глаз, потому что, ну, тут же нет какого-то оптического прицела с точкой посреди экрана. Самое смешное, что в стрельбе из лука, я считаю, мне восхитительно помог опыт игр компьютерных, потому что я всегда во всех играх, будь то Skyrim или вот здесь или еще где-то, у меня никогда нет прицельной точки. Я всегда выключаю. Если игра не позволяет выключить, я нахожу мод, который позволяет выключить. Почему? Потому что в Форесте еще я с лукарем обожал бегать. Потому что вот ты натянул, и вот эта картинка, она у тебя перед глазами застывает, и ты в реальности начинаешь воспринимать оружие точно так же. И, соответственно, становится очень просто. Ты в реальности повторяешь картинку из компьютерной игры, и стрелы летят туда, куда надо. На там буквально пару попыток, и у тебя уже выработана моторика. Вот этот лук мне явно нравится больше. Посмотрим, как он урон будет наносить. И что я тут накидал стрел-то, кстати? Они мне так-то нужны, я их только что покупал за бабки. Единственная претензия у меня к лукарям заключается в том, что если бы была какая-нибудь ситуация типа Last of Us в реальности, да, и я бы реально выбрал для себя возможность побегать с лукарем. Нихрена, тут до сих пор валяются сломанные турнирные стрелы. Я бы реально взялся бы против зомбаков побегать с лукарем, но претензия к этой игре у меня в том, что перехват стрелы все-таки делать в реальности проще. Вот с этим луком достаточно результативно, достаточно правильная скорость. Единственное, вот здесь, вот в момент натяжения 2-й раз он нормально поднимает стрелу. А после выстрела вот сейчас. Вот зачем он это делает. Опускание и снова поднимание. Это стрелковая техника. То есть, если ваша задача просто попасть в мишень, то вы будете действовать вот так. Это на совершенство, на точность, на красоту. То есть вы опустили, выдохнули, взвелись и, сосредоточившись, дали выстрел. Но в реальном бою у вас нет на это времени. Какое опустили, взвели, выдохнули. Поднял, дернул в глаз, поднял, дернул в глаз. Леголас. И вот здесь нет этого. То есть здесь игра рассматривает только общую стрелковую технику. Она не переключается в боевой режим. А еще я там посмотрел в инвентаре. Простите, прости, действительно. Че это я? Посмотрел в инвентаре, я там у этих шулеров столько интересных костей собрал. Против меня действительно за столиком играл шарлатан. Там были косточки, на которых выпадали чаще нечетные. Там была утяжеленная косточка, еще какая-то. Я уж молчу о том, что правила изначально не для всех равны, потому что, как выяснилось, там есть такое понятие, как Джокер в правилах. То есть на некоторых костях единичка может замещаться каким-нибудь рисунком, ну, типа Джокера или дьявола, что-то такого. В этом случае единица на такой кости, она становится этим дополнением для любой комбинации. То есть, например, у тебя выпало 2 шестерки и Джокер. Это комбинация 3 шестерки. И то есть у меня был набор стандартных костей без Джокеров, а играли против меня пацаны с Джокерами. Короче, там изначально нечестная ситуация, и я сомневаюсь, что можно выиграть. Именно на это я больше всего обиделся. И поэтому вырезал их херам собачьим. А ибо нефиг. Мне все время хочется сейчас сесть на коня, съездить туда и посмотреть, как там живет проститутка. Оставшаяся без платьев и без мужиков. Ну как без? Они там еще лежат.